Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, it's Scott Hammond in the 100% Humboldt podcast with my new, very best friend, Carol Lang. Hi, Carol.
Well, hello, Scott Hammond. How are you today?
I am awesome. It's great to see you.
Oh, it's excellent to be seen by you and really a nice pleasure to be here. Thanks for asking me.
And you got to meet Nick?
I did meet Nick. Go, Nick.
Go, Nick. So tell us the Carol story. I'd love to hear kind of where you started, where you were born, and how you got here today.
So I'm pretty much as local as they get. So the only distinction about my locality, my being local, is I wasn't actually born here.
Oh.
But I claim the local card because my great-grandfather was born in Ferndale, and my family's been in the Ferndale-Lolita area since the 1870s.
Wow.
So I just tell people I'm from here. I was raised in Arcata. And what happened, though, I know you're going to know, like, why wasn't she born here?
Right.
What is that story all about, Carol?
What's that story?
So, for anybody who has been here for a long time, they know that back in the 40s, 50s, whatever, CR did not exist. It was just Humboldt. In fact, it was Humboldt College, right? Wasn't it? I think it was just Humboldt College at the time. So my mom grew up in Fortuna, graduated as a Husky, go Huskies, and she went down to Santa Rosa JC to further her education after she graduated high school. And that's where she met my father. They got married. They stayed down there for about 16 years.
Wow.
She had 4 kids. Well, her and my dad, and then they moved back up here. So I've been here since I was 7, but I just tell people I'm from here because my family's history is from here.
Now, this wouldn't fly in Ferndale, by the way. You'd have to be 17 generations to be local.
You know what does fly in Ferndale? Oh, I play my relative card there every time I'm down there. So one day I was down there. We were like done with a theater show down in Ferndale. This is years ago. You trek on down to the Palace for your after the show cocktail. And every single photograph in that bar was my great-grandfather's.
That's funny.
So my great-grandfather was a photographer, and a lot of the photos that you'll see of like the building of the Fern Bridge and such are my great-grandfather's.
What was his name?
James McCloskey.
Wow. And he shot all that. I know those photos.
Well, I know there were several photographers up here, but his work is in the museum down in Ferndale.
Wow.
They have a whole bunch of his old glass negatives that were like about the size of an 8.5 by 11. They were those huge glass negatives.
Right.
And so I know that my mom took a lot of pride in bringing a lot of his stuff down to the Ferndale Museum, which I feel very strongly about donating stuff out there to the museums and stuff. If we have stuff that is a local part of our history, because everybody's going to see it that way.
Right.
It's just hanging out in your attic upstairs, gathering dust. Nobody knows
today.
about it. So,
where's the museum in Ferndale? I should know this.
It's just if you were to turn right before you get to the Red Front store in town, when you're at that stop sign, the museum's right there.
Oh,
like
it's right
just
there.
half a block up. Yeah.
Gosh, I've seen a lot of Ferndale. I've never seen that part.
There is a museum in Ferndale.
Cool.
And you will see some of my great-grandfather's work.
How about that? So you went to Arcata High?
I went to Arcata High my freshman year, and then I went to St. Bernard's sophomore, junior, and senior, and I graduated from there. But my claim to fame in the schooling system in Humboldt County is, I was the last graduating class from Stewart Junior High. Do you remember Stewart?
I do.
Across the street from Arcata High? Yep. A lot of people don't realize that was a junior high school, 7th and 8th. It was just 7th and 8th. It was a strict junior high school. So we went to kindergarten through 6th at Sunnybray.
Right.
And then we went to Stewart Junior High, and then we would go across the street to Arcata.
And then St. Bernard.
Yeah, I got shipped off at St. Bernard's my sophomore, junior, senior. I think they were a little concerned about me.
It's not that far away.
What is that Carol going to do in her high school years? Maybe she needs to be around more nuns.
More Catholics. That'll fix her.
That didn't weird my brain out at all. No, I was raised very strictly Catholic, and that was a big part of my life until I was able to become an adult and not have to go to church anymore. So I started working very early, so that got me out of the church Sunday routine and got me to working on Sundays.
Wow. Okay.
So I've been working since I was 14.
That's a good excuse to not go to church. Got to work. Sorry.
It was the only excuse my parents would allow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, job, church, I'm going to go with the job. Plus I get spending money.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
And work is sort of religion for some.
You know what? I got to tell you, I have a work ethic that I would never have had if my parents hadn't started me early. My very first job, I know you're going to ask, so I'm going to tell you.
What was your first job?
Thank you. I was a page at the Humboldt County Library.
Oh, that's cool. What is it? I'm curious. What does a page do?
Page puts away books, cleans. Back then, you would clean the records.
Oh.
You would restock the bookshelves.
That's a page.
It was exciting when they allowed me to check out books. That was pretty exciting because they were just getting the electric wands back then and barcodes.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
Yeah, that's the older tech. That was new old tech.
This was when the library was downstairs in the courthouse.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they built the fancy librry.
Super fancy.
Which is beautiful. I mean, that's a beautiful building.
It's so interesting, that part of town, because it's the prostitution part of town.
I got to tell you, prostitutes are readers too.
Yep. That's some read more than others.
Maybe they are. Maybe it's just a lot of books with pictures. I don't know.
Some are well read. I'm sure that's true. Do you know that I used to teach at St. Mary's in Arcata?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a PE teacher for my rec degree and went over and replaced James Washington, who was legendary. And they ate my lunch. I was just a horrible teacher, and it was a horrible experience.
I can't imagine you being a bad teacher. You seem to really enjoy people.
I do. But I was nice, but I just lost respect. And it was just God's way to train Joni and me specifically for 9 kids later.
There you go.
And had to learn all the lessons. And yeah, one of the lessons is don't be nice for a little while. Just like hold off on the nice guy. I'm your buddy. That's a bad idea.
Well, I think it's an amazing balance that teachers have to walk, is being friends and being acceptable and approachable and accessible to your students, but still having the authority and, what I say goes.
That professional distance.
Yeah, that's got to be tough.
So St. Bernard's directly to Humboldt State?
So I didn't go to college.
Oh, I thought you – okay, sorry. You're not college educated.
Okay, I went for like a year. So the only time I've not lived in Humboldt County, and I do consider myself just to have lived here my whole life, which, we know is not exactly true, but I do a lot of theater, so there might be some room for exaggeration in my life story. And
mine.
Yeah.
And his.
So I did get out for about a year and a half, and I lived in the Salinas Valley for about a year and a half, and I went to a junior college there called Hartnell, and that is where I started out taking all sorts of classes, and by the end of that year, all I was doing was theater, and all I was doing was living in the theater building and just wanted to be around the theater folks, and so that really started me in my theater career.
On your passion.
Yeah, absolutely, because it has been a passion.
Why Salinas?
So I was married at a very early age. I mean, I was legal. Don't get me wrong. It was fine, everyone. Don't get excited.
Yeah.
But because
18.
I was actually. And I was actually almost 19. But what happened was, because of my strict Catholic upbringing, I wasn't brought up in an environment where I could just shack up with somebody. I couldn't have moved in with him, and that would have not have been a very calming effect on my mom and dad's life.
Sure.
So,
nicely said.
So I think we got married, I mean, I loved the guy. He's still a great friend of mine. It was a really positive experience. But he went down there for a job opportunity. And so because I was married, I went with him.
Sure.
And then I came back by myself. I said, married life is not for me, and I think I want to go home now.
Yeah.
So I'm back to Humboldt County, and I've never left since.
So what did you do when you got back? Theater.
I did start doing theater, yeah. Ferndale. Why I actually came back was that year, during the summer, Hartnell has a program called the Western Stage, and it's basically a rep program. They do about 9 shows through 3 months. It's very true to rep theater. And there were so many people that came down there that year from Humboldt. And I just got to know all those people, and I was like, oh, man, I really miss it back up there. But people came from all over the country. It's one of those summer stock programs.
Okay.
So you had actors from all over the country, costumers, makeup, everybody just came in from out of the area. They do 3 months summer program, put on all these great shows, and then they all go back to find their other job. So when that summer was over, I decided that it was time to come back home. And one of the directors down there was directing a show at Ferndale, which was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh.
And so I started stage managing, and I stage managed for 10 years.
Wow. So you've done it all.
I have literally done every single thing you can possibly do in the theater world except design lights.
Design lights.
Because I refuse to carry a large ladder across a set ever since I dropped a ladder on a house set once in Salinas. It was this beautiful. And I mean, it just, oh my God, the whole thing went down, and it just right in front of the set. It was like, it just missed the whole set. And I was
Crushing.
like, I am done moving very large ladders that I can't quite handle on my own. And that's the only thing I've never done is design light. I've done costumes, sound, everything because I've now been directing for over 30 years. I really feel it's important that I know a little bit about how every job is done.
Sure.
So when I'm asking you for something, I know what I'm asking you for.
Yeah.
I know if it can realistically be done. I know if it might take a little longer. I know if it might take a little, be a little shorter than what you're working on is, Scott.
Right.
Like that project should only take a day. And it took you 3 days.
Why? Yeah.
Because you're slow. I'm sorry, but I know these things.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we understand and have an expectation what we're asking people for. So I've tried to do it all.
Transferable skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that. So you've done it all. What are you proud of in terms of some of the productions over the years? And we'll talk about film in a minute, your latest films.
So I am proud of productions that I feel could stand on their own outside of this area. And I have been involved in several shows now that I thought, I don't think we could see this any better in San Francisco or Seattle. I'm happy. That's what makes me happy, is when I think that Humboldt County audiences are going to walk into that theater and see just as good of a quality show as they would if they paid a lot more money to see it in a big city area.
And didn't have to travel and pay gas and hotels.
Our theater is so affordable here. People don't realize, because $20 for a ticket is a lot of money for some people.
Sure.
But they don't realize that, to see it in the city, I mean, you'd be paying for parking, you'd be da-da-da. I mean, it would be a few $100s for that evening.
Easily.
Which I think is worth it. My husband and I go down once a year still and try to see something in San Francisco, or we go up to Ashland. I'm totally just absolutely on fire when I go see Ashland stuff.
You love Ashland.
I love it. It's like our Broadway.
Ashland's cool.
Broadway is, you're not going to see anything better on Broadway than you can see in Ashland.
Yeah.
There might be some higher production values, but acting wise and just the spirit of it all, oh my gosh, it's so good.
And it's musical cousin in Jacksonville, the Brit Festival.
Yeah.
Which is
and it's
50 years
such
of
a
amazing.
short drive, 4 hours, and you do a little shopping with no sales tax. You're good. Yeah.
It's all good.
It's good to go to. Well, it's just good to be inspired.
Yeah.
So there was one show that I saw in Ashland. It was called The 10th Muse. And that's the only show that I've ever liked. I went to their little guild shop and I bought the script and I brought it back and I said, I would really like to do this. And so I talked to NCRT, Calder Johnson over there. And a few years ago we did it. And it was like one of the proudest shows I've ever done.
Wow.
But I've done some pretty good ones. Spamalot was a good one. I mean, I had people telling me that they liked it better than the one that the traveling company that came through HSU at the time.
Wow.
So every once in a while you get everything to align just right. Everybody working together gets along. Yay!
Yeah. How about Scott Q. Marcus? Has he been in some of your
Scott
stuff?
Q. Marcus, what a pain in the butt that guy is.
Oh, that's Q. Hate that guy. No, we love him.
He is the nicest guy you will ever work with, and he is the hardest worker. He is really coming into his own now. He's starting to direct. He's starting to produce. He's. I'm just here to tell you, you're never too old to get involved in something that you love to do. And the theaters, we all work on a voluntary basis. It's really unfortunate that the arts are so alive and well up here. But there's not a lot of living to be made out of the arts up here. So, if someone like me, I've just done it because I love it. This is really what I'm meant to do. And I never wanted to leave the area and go pursue this as a career. I don't know if I even would qualify for that kind of thing. I would have to go to school and learn all about the, the appropriate term. I mean, I would just have to really get a little bit more educated on the theater world if I wanted to go outside of this area. Because the difference between movies and theaters, it's just all in the language that we speak. And it drives me nuts that the movies have their own language. I'm like, but this is called this in theater. Why do I have to call it that? And it's like, so everybody making the movie understands what you're saying, Carol? I'm like, oh my God, I have to learn a foreign language.
Yeah, new vocabulary.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm working on now is switching over to some film talk.
I like your inference with Scott Q, because I think it applies to all of us. A lot of people don't peak out till they're a little older.
Absolutely.
And they have a good case of advanced maturity. And by then, he's become a good actor and he's always a good guy. Yeah. He's a great public speaker. He'd go national. Amazing. He'd do it for money. And he was big in my life in terms of training me to be Are
you in Toastmasters?
Oh, yes.
I know he's a big Toastmaster.
He was big in it. And then he went pro, really, and he did it for money. And but he got me involved in NSA, National Speakers Association. and a whole lot of other stuff. And so at a certain point, he shifted, though. And now he's doing pastoral work, which they call Church of Religious Science. They have a whole nother vocabulary. It's not praying, it's treating.
Right.
It's not the church building, it's the other thing. And we just sit there and laugh because I go, are you talking about God? Or what are we talking about? So we have to kind of like do this translation business, which is fun.
Yeah.
And it's all the same stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, it's true. It's like you're never too old. I mean, the theaters completely depend on volunteerism. Even just getting on their website and signing up to be an usher. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. This is my thing that I go out into the world and spew over everybody, whether you want to hear it or not. You can see all of the shows that you want to see in Humboldt County for free if you just sign up to help them usher. You might sell concessions or hand out programs. It's a great gig. You get to see the show for free. You get to meet people. You get to be a little bit more involved. But it just gets you out of the house, and then you decide whether or not you like it. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has to be on stage. I don't want to be on stage anymore. I've been on stage. I've done that. Mm-hmm. I have no desire ever again to memorize lines.
Good. Yeah, you've done enough lines.
I don't need that pressure anymore.
Yeah.
I'll take a little small part with a couple of lines if you want to give me one, but I'm like, those days are gone for me.
Yeah.
I really enjoy just directing. Boom, opening night, I'm done. And we'll see you in 4 weeks when you close.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. What theaters do you like here? Physical
I love them all.
spaces.
I really thought Redwood Curtain was a unique setup.
Was that the one
when they had
First
the
Street?
80 seat? Yeah, and it was in a curve, so that was really challenging. And I really enjoyed directing there because you're really directing for almost a theater in the round.
Is it still there?
No, they lost their theater about a year ago, and they have now joined forces with the North Coast Rep. And I believe they're both now under the same building as North Coast Rep, under the title of, I believe it's Fifth and D Theater. Mm-hmm. So the Fifth and D Theater now houses North Coast Rep and Redwood Curtain.
Okay.
So they've joined forces, which is great. I have a real soft spot for Ferndale because that was just, I mean, I did so many shows down there in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a magical place for me. There's something really magical about the Ferndale Theater.
What's the theater in Scotia?
That is is it the Winnamea?
Winnamea.
It's something like that. It is gorgeous. Have you ever been in there?
Yes.
It's all redwood. I mean, the columns are like just redwood trees. You're like, well, dang, they couldn't build that anymore. But it's fantastic.
It's really different.
I would love to see them utilize that theater more because it is beautiful. Yeah.
And then there's Eureka Theater, which they're trying to conserve and preserve and convert.
Mostly for the movies. Yeah.
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 That wouldn't be theater, though. Probably.
Well, you know, there's the two different spellings of theater, so I don't know that we want to get into that. But theater ER is a movie theater, and I believe that's like just the building itself, where theater RE is the actual act of the company. Could get that one wrong, but I was like, why is it sometimes RE and the other times ER? So I looked it up, but you know, the brain. So you might have to look that up. Let's all Google that, shall we? What are the differences between theater RE and theater ER?
So let's go back to Humboldt for a minute. Why do you like Humboldt?
I love Humboldt County.
Why do you love Humboldt?
Why do you love it, Scott?
Why do I love Humboldt? Fresh air is a good start.
It's beautiful.
I like it because there's people like you who are fun and interesting and different and eclectic and might say iconoclastic. Been waiting all day to use that word.
And what does that mean, Scott?
It means one of a kind.
He knew the definition, so we're going to give him that. Okay. So, you know, there is not one day of my life that I don't spend where at some point in the day I look around and I just think, what a beautiful place we live.
Yeah.
I just driving back and forth to Arcadia and Eureka by the bay. It doesn't matter where I am.
Yeah.
And I live out in Cutton, so there's nice redwood trees, you know, a block over. And there is not one day that goes by that I do not give thanks for this beautiful land that we live in, that we are, you know, privileged to live in.
Right.
It's just gorgeous.
Even a foggy, kind of rotten day, I'm going, this is amazing. It's not snowing.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful here. And the people are really interestingly beautiful and wonderful. So
yeah, I got to say the diversity of people, because, you know, so I grew up here and
more water?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
My friend calls it Warder. They're from
Warder. Where are they from?
Western PA.
Yeah, well,
Warder.
They don't really know their vowels that well, do they?
Well, That's better than saying Cuttin. I'm from Cuttin.
Did I say Cuttin?
What happened to your T's, man?
Cuttin?
Makes me so mad. These people.
Okay.
These
so get
kids.
this. So I'm in a. So one thing that I do love about living in Humboldt County is I like to get out once in a while, right? So I've been working my whole life since I was 14. So I save my money and I travel. So I got to go to Australia in 2019.
Cool.
Turned out to be a good time to go to Australia because we went in April. That summer, the country burned. And then a couple months later, if you remember, there was that weird little thing called the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, thank God we went to Australia.
You got it in, yeah.
So I'm at this little gift shop because I love being a tourist. I love going to the gift shops. And I'm talking to this guy about getting a little frame for a picture I did. And he's like, Pacific Northwest. And I went, what? And he goes, you're from the Pacific Northwest, aren't you? And I went, well, kind of. What?
How'd you pick that
I'm
up?
like, so I guess we do have a weird accent to people other places, right? That's the only reason I'm saying that.
He pulled that out, though.
That's pretty darn close. I'm going to give you that. Yeah. I think other people might consider us to be kind of on the cusp of Pacific Northwest.
Sure.
But I want you to know I did just get to go to the Pacific Northwest for a visit, see some family. They've taken over Bigfoot up there. Did you know that?
No way.
Seattle, Washington, it's all Bigfoot.
They co-opted Bigfoot.
Yeah, I thought Bigfoot was ours.
He's Willow Creek, man.
Thank you. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, anyhow, I'm just saying, Seattle.
Oh,
Mushrooms and Bigfoot were really the big
up there
things. Yeah.
Not Starbucks.
A lot of cartoony mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Starbucks is just a given. Yeah. That's where they're from. So,
yeah.
But I didn't know about Bigfoot going all the way up there.
We have another coffee place we really like. It's called Black Rock. And they're all Northwest.
I've never heard that.
I think they started in Portland, but there's one in Medford. It's quite good. We don't even do to-go coffee, but for that we make the exception. Yeah. It's delicious. What else do you like about Humboldt?
So one of the things is I love traveling, but I love coming back here. What don't I love about Humboldt? So growing up here, I grew up in Arcata, and it was early 70s, and I don't know, just everybody you would pass in the street, you would smile and say hello to. It was just the norm. It doesn't happen up there too much anymore, I've noticed.
Less so.
Probably. We need to get back to where you can smile and just say, "Hey, good day" to the person you're passing by.
Hey, Nick, how you doing over there?
Yeah.
Buddy?
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I see his hat moving.
So I'm very much, I will stop you on the street and tell you that I like your outfit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's fun to do. It's like
if you're walking by my office, I'll yell at you, "Hey."
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Scott, what are you doing?
Hey, Scott.
I don't know.
What shoes are you wearing today?
My khaki shoes.
But there is an amazing amount of things going on up here to do. So you just pick up the North Coast Journal.
Yep.
And most of it, if not free, is extremely affordable. And you don't pay for parking. Yeah, you go to see a show in the city. I mean, parking alone could be $50 for the night,
Oh, yeah.
So feel like there's just so many things to choose from. Like, you can't just decide at 2 a.m, I want to go hear jazz. You're not going to be able to find a club that you can maybe just go hear jazz or, have a plethora of choices for jazz. Scott, did you notice that word that I just pulled out? I was like, God, I got to use a word for Scott.
Got to get another one here before it's over. Okay, it's 1-to-1.
Yeah. And so, just things like, look at what we do, like Arts Alive. It's a free event, once a month where you just walk around the shops and see people and look at art.
And now the Friday night thing?
Yeah. It's all free.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, people that will move up here they're like, oh, there's not a lot to do. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You got to plan it. But I have some weekends where it's like, I'm booked from morning till night with things to do.
Too many things.
Yeah.
And some weekends, spring and fall, sometimes they're just like, there's 17 things I want to go to, and I can only pick 2.
So you really should look into cloning. Because I have looked into that. And
really, how's that going for you?
Is this Carol or is this her clone?
I don't know.
I'm telling you what.
I think you're the real deal.
Okay, I am.
I'm pretty sure.
No, there's just nothing to not love for me up here. And every once in a while I run into somebody who I went to high school with. And there were 54 people that I think that graduated in our class. It was a very small class.
That's small.
So there aren't that many of us that stayed up here, but there are a few. So that's always fun to run into somebody that you knew in high school. And, yeah, just the ocean. And it's funny, though, how seldom we go to the ocean, right? Yeah. We drive to work and we go home and we watch our little streaming. And the next thing you know, it's like, wow, when was the last time we went to the ocean? Because it's right there.
Live right by it. So Joni and I go. We have a Dick Taylor date. Oh, wait. We have something for you here.
Oh, my gosh.
But you have to pass the quiz yet. So we'll get one of these guys.
Oh, I get a quiz.
Yes, you do. We'll get a Dick Taylor bar and a bottle of red wine, and we'll go up to Huda Point or
Nice.
Luffenholtz. And now they have a new little, it's called Topona Point. They have redone the little park in there. And we'll just kind of park and throw open the van doors and pull out the chairs. And it's magic to watch the sunset and then hit the Pacific. And it becomes 70 degrees for about 20 minutes. And then it sets and it's back down to 42.
Yeah.
But it's close.
Yeah.
It's inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's fresh air. All the boxes that you were checking.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate that it's expensive just to, for the rent and just your utilities, those kind of living expenses. But as far as finding entertainment and stuff, you can, I mean, gosh, just go to the plaza on Saturdays and go to the farmer's market and there's music and characters and just all sorts of just life happening. And it's just such a diversity of people. It's really wonderful to see.
I want to go to the theaters. Scott Hughes begged Joni and I begged me forever to go, and I'm too busy. I'm grinding. I'm working. I'm raising 9 kids, and now I'm without excuse because I know what it's like to see live music locally and know what a deal it is to go see Pig Martini at the Van Dusen.
Oh, did you go see them?
Yeah, they're great.
They are so good.
Oh,
and that's what I'm talking about. So the Center Arts program, for instance.
It wasn't crazy money. It was fine. It was local.
Yeah, I mean, it might be $45-$50 a ticket for a group that you would have to travel out of the area, you also might want a weekend away. So that's not the point.
That.
But even at whatever they charge per ticket is such a great deal. And the fact that such high quality entertainment comes from, I mean, so I'm a Center Arts usher.
Oh, of course you are.
So,
that's right. That's why I saw you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what people don't realize.
Were you at Pig Martini?
No, because I'm a house manager now at another theater.
Oh.
I know. I took my retirement job a year early because I'm getting ready to retire from the job force. And so I was invited to basically come and do my dream job. And I said, well, I'm not going to turn that down. So I just recently last year I became the house manager at the Arkley Theater or the Arkley Performance Arts Center.
Did not know that. Let's talk about that after we talk about your day job that you're retiring from.
Oh, yay. Okay. I'm retiring, everybody. Everybody at work knows.
She's out, folks. It's happening. So when do you have when is your retirement date and what's your day job? And you said job force?
So I've only had in my adults. So I worked a lot of jobs up until I got my kind of career going. So, I mean, you name it, and I probably worked there. I mean, gosh, I worked at Daly's department store. Remember Daly's?
Yeah.
Bistron's.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at the Red Lion Inn.
Did you work for Randy at Bistron's in Arcata?
Yeah.
Remember Randy? Tall guy? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Harry and what was the two Bistron?
Charlie was my manager.
Okay.
Yeah, but I started with sidewalk sales because they just needed somebody who could be reliable and work for them on the weekends. And then I graduated into inside the store during the holidays when they needed extra help.
Whoa.
And yeah, I worked at Bim's for a long time. Do you remember Bim's? It was a Stanton's restaurant. It was a hamburger joint up in Arcata.
Yeah.
Across from Wildberries. It's now, I think, a Mexican restaurant. Yeah.
Of course. It's Carmela's now or something.
Yeah. So I worked at a lot of places, but my main career, I spent almost 25 years, ended up in corporate management here in Eureka. I worked at Kinko's, and then I worked at Starbucks for many years. But I will have been at the county now for 12 years, and I'm retiring April 25th.
Congrats.
Yeah.
What's the job force?
What do you mean, what is the job force?
You said job force. Did you say those words?
I don't know. I could have.
What'd you do for the...
What do I do now for the county?
You were in some program for the county.
She's in a special program. She's not allowed to talk about it.
If we told you, we'd have to kill you.
Yeah. I work at DHHS, and I work in employee services, and we support public health, social services, and behavioral health. All three of those got put under the umbrella of DHHS in Humboldt County, and we were one of the first counties in California to roll up those three branches into one branch. And now it makes sense because everybody can communicate and everybody can, relate and everybody can work together.
Makes sense, yeah.
Some places you'll find social services is a completely different department, and only social services is what they deal with. Behavioral health all by itself. Public health all by itself. We rolled them up all into one, which is something Humboldt County should be very proud of. Yeah,
was that your idea?
No. I'm not even going to say nope. That happened before I got there.
Yeah,
but I think it's really an amazing thing.
So you're at Kinko's before Starbucks?
Yeah, I was at Kinko's for 17 years.
Arcata?
Eureka. Liz managed the Arcata.
Liz is amazing.
Liz is one of those amazing human beings.
She's still around.
She is crazy as ever, and I love her to death. Yeah,
like
we
Liz.
became lifelong, basically.
I was a student,
family.
and she was young, go-getter, and helpful, and
she's awesome,
very sweet,
and a very good musician. She plays the fiddle.
Really?
Yep. Her and her sister Janet used to be in a Celtic band.
Huh.
I don't know the name of it though. So, but I'm just saying, a lot of us are holding 9-to-5 type jobs and doing creative, artistic things with our own time after work and on the weekends. And for some of us, that's just what we've decided to do. But I'm getting to the point now where it'd be nice just to do the stuff I love.
Right.
And not have to go to work every day.
And that's where I met you at Starbucks, because you were an amazing Starbucks manager.
Probably.
Yeah.
Not that I was amazing Starbucks manager, but that we met there.
Yeah. Or the other way around.
Yeah. Hey, you're giving people caffeine. There's not much to not like about that job.
Right.
No, I actually really enjoyed working for that company. They were a very good company
How
to
long
work
were you
for.
there?
I was there almost 7 years.
Store manager or DM?
No, store manager, yeah.
Downtown?
Yep. And then the one in Myrtletown. And then I went down to Fortuna. I demoted for my last couple of years and was a shift supervisor. And I used to go down to Fortuna all the time. Yeah.
We loved Myrtletown. We called it 3 p.m. therapy.
Well, I can't believe they closed it. I think it was just because it was off the beaten track. But now they've opened a couple more.
That's their model now. They opened the giant box,
the
box thing on either side.
Yeah.
The Starbucks box.
Yeah.
So tell me about your interview skills with Access Humboldt. And do you have any interview skills?
So, people are probably wondering, because I'm sure everybody who's watching this now is just wondering about my life right now. How did that Carol get so much experience without going to college? So I decided to learn while I was doing. I knew it right away. It was before I left Salinas for that year and a half. I was there to come back home. I went, I really, really, really want to learn how to do theater, but I know I don't want to learn it in a school setting. I want to just go and work in theater and learn. So that's what I did for 10 years. I learned how to be a really good stage manager. And after that, the next progression was just, you start working with directors and you're like, yeah, I could probably do that. Or you get asked to kind of co-direct because you're there all the time. And so I learned a lot by doing. So that has always been my preferred method. Throughout the years, I've taken the odd class here and there. I've taken a class up at Humboldt or, just kind of audited some stuff. But that just wasn't the way that I wanted to go about learning and developing that craft. Sure. I just wanted to be right in the middle of it and just work with the actors and work with the designers and the directors. And so once I found that, I knew that there was that was what I meant to do.
Kinetic learning.
Yeah.
So you had a show on Access
I did.
TV,
I had a talk show, the Carol Escobar Show, for about,
tell us more.
Almost like 6 years.
Is that a maiden name?
That was my married name.
Married name.
My maiden name is Heinley.
Heinley,
yeah. My name is Carol Heinley Escobar Lang, but I go by Carol Lang now.
Okay.
My husband, Howard. Hello, Howard.
Hey, Howard.
Who is... It's just amazing to have your partner in life be so supportive of you. He's an amazing audio guy.
Oh.
And so he, for many, many years, has designed all my sound and done all that sort of stuff for me.
And he's a dentist by trade, right?
Well, he's actually retired. He's a retired orthodontist.
Orthodontist.
Yeah. So he's been retired for a few years, and every day you come home, and I'm like, hey, how'd the day go? He's like, I didn't get through my list. And I'm like, I don't think it matters.
No.
It's okay.
Your boss said it's okay.
You can start that list again tomorrow.
Promise. Get some sleep.
But everybody that's retired keeps saying that. It's like, yeah, you're going to be so busy. And I'm like, I'm already busy. Like, I've already started my next project, and I kind of had to retire in order to fulfill my obligation of what we're about to do this September. So we're getting ready to make another movie.
I want to hear about that. Before you do that, you're right. People in my business retire, people that we insure, hey, I'm retired. Hey, are you busy? Oh, you wouldn't believe it. But I'm busy with the things that I want to do.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's the magic. That's the key.
Yeah.
So you're retiring from the county, and you're going to go take a job with the Arkley Theater.
Right, which I've already done. I started last year because it's what I do anyway.
So you're part of the Nutcracker this winter?
Yeah. See, I work all day, and I've been doing this for forever. I work all day at my regular job, and then I go and I rehearse at night, and on weekends we make theater. So I just think I'm getting to the point now where I'd like just to be able to do the theater or, the
Does
stuff.
Does that mean more shows coming? Because it seems like such an underutilized resource.
As far as
perceptively, that there would be more music and productions, and I just don't. I always think it'd be booked every weekend
for
the Arkley.
For the Arkley,
yeah.
It is probably, in my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful theaters that we have here, and I think they did an amazing job.
The sound is good
of redecorating and bringing that back to life.
It's lovely.
I just think it's a beautiful theater. I wish that would happen with more of our older buildings because you can't build them like that anymore. So why not preserve them?
Right.
But yeah. So the Arkley, the house managing gig, was what I would do anyway with my off time. And since they asked me, and I said yes, that's actually my dream job. So it'll be just 5 hours here, 5 hours there. So
who's the sound guy? Is there one sound guy who's the?
There is.
I think I know who it is. He does Chris, the dark hair guy.
He's awesome.
He did the Bob Dylan birthday party at Blue Lake Mad River Brewery one year.
Yeah. See,
he does a lot of stuff.
That's the thing in the theater. I don't know what it is. You just meet the most wonderful people.
He's a good sound guy.
He's a great sound guy, and he's a great guy to work with because he's just so nice. And he's a problem solver, and he never loses his cool.
Big trait for a sound guy.
Yeah, well, especially in the theater. I mean,
probably anybody in the theater is probably good.
I don't know how they do it because they have shows that come in and like within 2 days they're just running it like they were part of the crew the whole time, and I'm like, you guys are good. You guys are good.
That's amazing.
But I would love to see more things at the Arkley just because it's such a beautiful theater and people really like to go there. So
is it rented out, or is there a house production unit which would bring Judy Collins here? I mean, is there, or is that other people that do that for the Arkley?
So right now, how they're set up is anybody can rent the theater.
Gotcha.
They contact them. They go over a contract. This is how much it's going to cost. This is what you get for your, this is what you get for the fees.
So the Rolling Stones could call in and go, hey, we're doing some shows.
In fact, I'm pretty sure they have.
Yeah.
But,
Not recently.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And they used Center Arts used to do a lot of stuff over there too. Like we saw Judy Collins there, I think. Was it Chris Christopherson we saw there recently?
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
Before he died, he was there.
Yeah, I didn't see him after he died.
Yeah. Yeah. He hasn't been seen much.
And if I had, I wouldn't tell you.
Love you, Chris. And
amazing songwriter, right? I mean, just an amazing songwriter.
We see Tommy Emmanuel there. So some of the Center Arts stuff.
Oh, Tommy Emmanuel. Yeah, that's Howard's favorite.
Oh, he's amazing.
Probably one of the best guitar players in the world.
He's magical.
Yeah.
So I think Center Arts is all finished. I'm sorry, the Van Dusen Theater at Humboldt, at Cal Poly Humboldt. We also have to correct
Harder
that.
CPH.
CPH, whatever. Sigh. So Cal Poly is all finished. So they're producing all their own shows there. I think most everyone.
I think they are. Yeah. And I highly encourage people once again to get on with places like that as far as ushering and stuff. That actually became part of my retirement plan. Is how can I afford to go see shows if I'm no longer working? So I thought about that, and a few years ago I went, you know what I need to do? I need to get on that ushering staff at Center Arts because they see world-class entertainment. I just have to stand there, show people to their seats, be ready for an emergency, be my little flashlight out.
Right.
It's a really easy, wonderful gig, and I've seen some amazing shows.
Who have you seen?
Oh my God, Bonnie Raitt was great.
Bonnie's good.
She was one of my only two that I had to stand because there were so many people there.
Right.
And Ziggy Marley.
Oh, really?
Blew me away. And so he's somebody like, reggae music. And so I like a little bit and stuff, but I didn't know too much about him. I mean, I know a little bit about Bob Marley and stuff. But so it's a great way, too, to see shows that you don't really know a lot about. So you're not investing a big chunk of, a little chunk of your money to go see them. You can decide. I have never been disappointed with the stuff I've seen at Center Arts, but Ziggy blew me away. I can't even tell you how entertaining he was.
That's cool.
He was just electric on stage. It was fantastic.
How about what's his name?
What's his name? I haven't seen what's his name in a while.
Good. I'll think of his name. Michael DeFronte. I'll think of it in a minute.
Michael Bublé. I've not seen him at Center Arts.
What about B.B. King when he was there?
I did not see B.B. King. That was a little bit before my time.
James Brown?
Nope. I just started Center Arts ushering probably about 6, 7, 8 years ago.
You sort of knew her, yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Cray Band has been there a lot. He's good.
Yeah. There's some really amazing. I really love the dance.
Oh, yeah.
The dance is something I make a point to go to, and any comedy or like the Peking acrobats.
Peking acrobats are good, right?
Fantastic. So I'm just here to spread the theater love and just remind people how much stuff there is out there for us to do.
Michael Franti is his name.
Okay.
He's sort of funk and a little bit of reggae influence, but he plays a lot up here.
Yep.
Quite good.
There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of kind of not unlike theater, a lot of little venues in Arcata and the what's the Creamery District? The Creamery Theater. And
so that used to be where the old Pacific Arts Center was.
Right.
Remember that?
I do.
PAC used to be in the Creamery building, yeah.
And there was plays there?
Yep.
Wow.
That's how far I go back. I go back so far that I was stage managing for directors that now I direct.
Oh. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So people that were directing back in the 80s, not all of them are still directing, but every once in a while they'll pop up and want to be in a show. And so I get to, Tootie Dodgen is the one that comes to mind because she's just a fantastic actress. And I stage managed for her when she was directing. And now the last couple shows I've done, she's been in my shows.
Tootie Dodgen. Is her dad Jim?
I don't know.
Oh.
Don't know about that.
I knew that name. Well, cool. Hey, how about the film thing? Tell it.
Oh,
hey, I heard you're doing some film thing.
All right.
With Matt St. Charles.
So, I think life is too short just to talk about doing stuff. And I think every once in a while you just got to get out there and do it. And I don't care how it comes out, the fact that you did it, that's the journey, right? The journey is just the doing it.
Amen.
So back in 2020, we were going to be filming our first film, which is a, feature length. It's very specifically written to be filmed in Humboldt County. It's a play that was written by Sue Bigelow and Janice Goldberg. And I don't know if you remember Sue Bigelow, but she used to have the theater up above the brewery called Plays in Progress. Do you remember that theater?
Above Lost Coast?
Yeah. And all she would do was produce original scripts. So anything that was happening there, you've never seen it before.
Wow.
So there would be nights where we would get 2 people in the audience, and that was exciting, right? It's like, oh my gosh. Like if you had more people in your audience than actors in the cast, you were excited. Because people really want to go see shows they've heard about, which is a little sad for me because how are you going to, how are you going to get exposed to the new works and stuff?
Yeah.
There might be something that you really like. So Sue has since passed away, but before she did, we were talking a long time ago. I was very involved in Humboldt Access. That's where I learned how to do film editing, how to actually shoot things. We were involved with Access Humboldt for a long, long time.
With Sean?
Yeah, absolutely.
When they were at Eureka High?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And so we would go in and we would, it's a great opportunity to learn about film. And it's all free, once again, to people in Humboldt County. They will air anything, as you know. Right? You could film your dog's birthday party and they would put that on if you were good with it. I've seen some real
wild stuff.
Yeah. So I thought I would go ahead and do the Carol Escobar show because I know a lot of people in theater. We'd have people to talk to.
Is it mostly theater?
Yeah. And we would talk about the upcoming shows and I would go film little clips and we'd have little,
12 years?
I didn't do it for 12 years, but it was a while ago.
It was a little while.
It was a little while ago, yeah.
Did you have a co-host or just you and
Nope, just me.
Guest?
Yeah, and I used to write little monologues and stuff. And
it was at their studio?
Yeah, we would film at their studio. And then as it got going on, I took over the editing because Nick, a good editor is really hard to find, especially one that will work for no money.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I have to learn how to edit because I can't keep asking people.
You did your own edits.
So I learned how to edit, which was really nice.
What'd you like about doing the show?
I really just enjoyed meeting and talking to people. Yeah, it was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to like about meeting new people and talking to them?
Well, it depends on the people.
It's true. It's true.
Mostly it's correct. You're right.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
And just to have people get excited, like actors don't usually get an opportunity to sit down for an interview on TV, I mean,
maybe be themselves.
Yeah, it's all local, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And
Access is fun.
I really spent many years at Access Humboldt learning how to do stuff.
Do you know their one guy? The guy that has the archive? Is it John Hauser? Not the actor.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he has he's one of my next guests. It's going to be cool.
Okay.
You'll like it. Okay. He's part of their cadre down at CR.
Okay.
And he houses an internet archive that has a jillion gigawatts of data on everything every Grateful Dead show.
Wow.
Every Bruce Springsteen bootleg music, just crazy speeches, books. I can't. Anyway. I digress. Tell me about the. We digress. Tell me about the film.
Okay, so the first film we did, we're all set to go in 2020. If we all remember what happened about April of that year, the whole country shut down for the pandemic.
I do remember that now.
It was just that little weird thing. It's funny, though, how easily and how quickly we forget how kind of horrible that time was, right?
It was really weird.
It really was weird. So then there's this big thing about, well, can we still do the movie or not? And so I decided, yes, we can. I spoke to like a public health nurses. I mean, I did everything. So we rehearsed it like a play. And we had an office building that was donated to us for our rehearsal space and stuff. And every night I would spritz that whole place down and wipe it down and clean it down and da-da-da-da. And we only rehearsed with the actors wearing masks. So I never saw their faces, which was really weird. But because we were gifted this show from Sue Bigelow and Janice Goldberg because it took place in Humboldt County and it only had 4 main characters. And it takes place in a cabin on the river in Humboldt County. So Sue was thinking, for your first one, this would be pretty doable. So we rented the Mateel Retreat Center down by Petrolia. And we booked that for about 16 days. And the whole crew and the whole cast, we took over the entire camp for that amount of time. And so we were basically in quarantine together.
Sure.
And not one person ever got COVID.
Cool.
We made a really nice movie for our first one. I think it's beautifully filmed. Matt St. Charles is amazing. And we got it out there.
I've seen clips, yeah.
Yeah, to a couple film festivals, and we won a couple of awards and stuff. So if anybody's interested, you can just go to autumnrunmovie.com, and that is our website, and you can watch the trailer, and there's like a half-hour, how did we make the movie during the pandemic? And it's
called Autumn Run.
Yeah, Autumn Run. So it's appropriate for all ages, but there are some swear words, just because I think some people talk that way sometimes, when they're,
Shucks.
But it was, I was watching it. We had our premiere at the Minor Theater because I really wanted to do that because that's where I grew up going to movies, right? And
cool movie theater.
I want to like premiere the movie at the Minor Theater.
$2 for 2 movies.
Right? They always had double features on the weekends.
Harold and Maude.
99 cents. Remember they did the 99 cents?
I do.
Harold and Maude is a great movie.
Have you ever seen Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon?
Yep. I watched all those.
Zeffirelli.
All
with
those.
A soundtrack by Donovan.
Yep.
Which up to this point you couldn't find.
Call me mellow yellow.
Yeah.
That's right, Slick. I don't know if that song's from there, but
it's
I love Donovan.
That song is not in that movie.
Well,
however,
it could be.
It
Brother,
could be.
Sun, Sister, Moon. They call it mellow yellow. See the theme there?
It is. I
could be singing about the sun.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So just get over the swear word. They do use the F word a lot. Even I was watching it at the premiere and I'm like, dang, there's a lot of F word in there. But oh, well, it's too bad, so sad. But I'm super, super proud of it for the budget we had, the fact that we did it all. It got out of the area. We got to show it in a film festival in New York.
What it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So we had a lot
Who are the
of fun.
4 actors?
The 4 actors are AJ Hempstead.
Local?
Yep. They're all, yes, it was very important. Every single thing about that film is local. Queena Delaney, James Gadd, and Jesse, oh my God, I'm spacing on his last name.
Queena Delaney. I don't know one Queena.
Yeah, it's Queena.
He's really nice.
No, it's she.
No, she.
She's very nice.
Dark hair.
Yeah. I love Queena. I like to work with Queena. So,
is this Queena that works at the Carson?
Yeah.
Really?
She's a really good actress.
She
starred in several of my plays.
She always calls me Mr. Hammond. It makes me feel special.
Yeah,
no, she's actually.
Aren't you that lady in Autumn Run?
I didn't do that. And by the way, could I have an autograph?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the script right here. It's original.
So I also like just working with really nice people. And there was nothing negative about our experience down at the camp. And we got the whole thing filmed in under 16 days. We brought it in under budget. Nobody got COVID. And yeah.
A win-win-win.
Yeah.
When?
So we got it out in 2021. And now we're ready for our next one.
Tell us about that one. What's it called? Is it all the same thing? Local, everything?
Well, so my goal is to start making films locally because I think, look at the amount of Hollywood that comes here to make films. And I know we have the talent here. So, it's going to be trying to get the talent all in one spot. And, how much will people work for? We can pay them something, but we're working on a really micro budget here. And so Everything will be done locally, except it's 3 lead actresses, and we are thinking about bringing in actresses from New York.
Wow.
I know, I'm excited.
Wow.
Because we really want to elevate our, every time we do something, I like to just get to another level above what we just last did.
Right. Level up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to try to bring in a couple of pros, but every single other part will be cast locally. All of the supporting roles, costumer, the cinematographer, musician, every as much as we possibly can. That is the point, is to make it with as much local talent as we can.
You have a script and everything. You're ready to go.
Yeah, it's called Rose-Colored Glass. It's a beautiful story. It's once again from the same 2 playwrights that gave us Autumn Run.
Cool.
And if anybody remembers seeing this show, it's a play. It's set in 1938 in Chicago. And it's about a Jewish lady and an Irish Catholic lady whose businesses butt each other up in the alley, but they're not friends because they come from 2 different worlds. But they start this friendship because the Jewish lady is trying to get her nephew out of war-torn Europe. And so she starts opening up to this other lady, and together they start building a friendship and building an alliance in trying to get the nephew from Europe. He's only like 12 years old, and they know things are about to explode in Europe.
Wow.
And so they're trying to get the boy to the United States.
Go figure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. It's the story that I really wanted to do it, but I knew I wasn't ready. Now we know we're ready. So the only thing we're not going to do is we're never going to mention Chicago as the city in the script, because we're going to film it all here. That's our point, is to film things here. There's tons of brick buildings in Old Town. There's whole Ferndale. I mean, we've been for months now going around to businesses and really looking. And this weekend, in fact, we're taking all the pictures of all the buildings we want, and we're building the neighborhood block that these ladies' businesses are on.
Oh.
So it's like when you go to her deli, you will always pass by these certain businesses.
Interesting.
One might be the Morris Graves. One might be, a building over here. So we're going to piece it together. It's going to come in the editing. Obviously, Nick, great editing is very important, because you'd be surprised how oftentimes you're watching a movie and you think, oh, that house is just there by itself, surrounded by nothing. And then you go and you see the house in real life, and it's like in the middle of a neighborhood. It's movie magic how they do it.
They do that.
So we're ready for that. Yeah, we're going to up our level. The main thing is we need to get old cars, and we know those are here.
Those are here.
So we're going to depend a lot on our community and the kindness. Costuming is actually the least thing I'm worried about, because all of the theaters, we work with all of the theaters, and I know that they have tons of clothing from the 1930s. So all of the extras, when we do a street scene, we're going to have like 100 people. We're just going to invite all of our theater friends, whoever else wants to come, friends and family. And we'll have racks set up for that season, whatever the month is that we're doing the walking scene. Everybody just go find your costumes. Great. Everybody fits. We're going to run through it a couple times, tell you what we're doing. And I think it's going to be incredible.
That's fun.
It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be fun.
Is there a website or any way we could fund you or get a hold of you? Or
there is a Rose-Colored Glass website that Howard has put up for us, but we are not looking for funding right now, although we probably should. It's going to be, we have the funding for it. It's the next movie that we make. We will not have any funding for. This is all we can do, Autumn Run and Rose-Colored Glass, with the funding sources we have. And then we hope that through those 2 movies, to make the next one, which will be in 5 years or so down the road, that we will have 2 movies to show people this is the quality that we are capable of. This is what we're doing. It's now time to ask, would you guys like to invest in a film?
Sure.
$50 here, $100 there. You 10,000. I will take your 10,000.
Absolutely.
We will spend it wisely.
Yep.
It costs a lot of money to do a movie.
You're our new best friend.
Because I want to be able to pay people something. It's very important to me.
Speaking of paying something.
Are we done?
If you've watched the show, you know that this part of the show is where we do
I thought we were done.
No.
Nick's going, God dang, that girl can talk.
We're just getting started.
Do not worry about me, Nick.
So this is the Humboldt County quiz. So
Excellent.
You get a day off to do anything you want, paid day off. What do you do in Humboldt? Question number 1. For 30 points.
Oh, I go to the theater.
Which theater?
That's all I do.
Just go to a theater.
It's going to involve my dogs. I have 2 German 2 German Shepherds.
Oh, wow.
And I do have mother's guilt for when they're not, out and about at parks too often, like with the weather like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they have access to the outdoors and
sure.
they've got their big yard and everything. But I definitely am going to take my dogs someplace fun.
Okay. Question number 2.
Okay.
Dinner out with Howard. Where do you go?
Oh my gosh.
Anywhere you want to go. It's on us. It's on Nick.
Well, we actually only go to a couple places. So during the pandemic, we only ate at like 2 to-go places, and they were both Mexican. So that will tell you that we really enjoy our Mexican food. And I like a little sushi. Okay. So I sushi or Mexican is
Are you going
to
call out the names of these places?
Do you want me to?
Of
Oaxaca
course.
in Henderson Center.
Okay.
Go Yuri. I mean, it's family run. They are amazing, amazing customer service in there. They are fantastic. Their food is awesome.
They're right there on Henderson.
They're right there on Henderson, yeah. And then I really like sushi. I can eat that anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So,
what sushi do you like here?
Oh, bento's very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have the one down the alley from us, AJ Ichabod.
Ichabod, yeah.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, that's actually the one I was thinking, and I said Obento because I couldn't think of
Maybe it used to be.
Is there even an Obento up here? Isn't that where they used to do the chop? Chop.
Oh, that was Benihana.
Yeah, no, I've never.
That was the chain.
I've never even been to a Benihana. But yeah, it's the one by your office that I really like.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, delicious. Okay.
Was that okay? I mean, there are no wrong answers, right?
Number,
Mexican and sushi?
Yeah.
Who can't go wrong
or Mexican
with that.
sushi.
Mexican sushi?
They have Indian pizza now.
Yeah.
Pandori Bites Pizza in the old Angelo's.
Okay. All right.
Heard today is pretty dang good.
So let me ask you, what was your Christmas feast like?
It was good. We overpaid for prime rib. I usually don't do that, but the adult kids requested that, so I weathered Costco at 9 a.m. on Christmas Eve day.
Brave.
It was so smart. I was out at 9:17. I'm looking at my watch going, oh.
I thought they didn't open till 10. Are you special?
Well.
Do you have a business thing?
I am special, and no.
Well, thank you for noticing.
Thank you for asking.
Specialness.
Yeah, no, they open early because they close early.
Oh, okay.
And it's only on the phone, so you have to phone it in and go, their hours are different.
I didn't go near a store at that time of the year.
No, my wife went the day before, and she turned around and left.
Yeah.
The lot was full. We had an insured person call with a branch from Costco that hit their car.
Oh my word!
It was a dumpster fire. It was really bad. And gosh, that morning was great. I went and got my prime. So we had prime rib. It was good.
Nice.
It came out really good. And I think I could go half price next year and get it like a brisket or some sort of sirloin roast.
See, that's the thing I'm learning because it's just me and Howard at home, and I am trying to learn how to cook for 2 people.
Yeah.
But you could come over to my house anytime I cook. I'll have enough for like 10. I was taught how to cook by an Italian.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, there is no shortage of food when I cook.
And talk like one.
Hey.
Hey, that's right.
Hey, mangia.
Hey, parting shots, because I'm going to give my my little spiel at the end, and we're running out of time. But that was a quick hour.
That really, really was fast. Wow, it really was an hour. And
thank you.
I have the gift of gab, so
it's good.
Anytime you need somebody just to come and gab at you, let me know.
Thank you. Will do.
But I do want to spread the love of theater and tell everybody out there that it is something that the theaters need your help. Mm-hmm. They thrive on volunteerism. I mean, if you have sewing skills or, but you'd be surprised how many things they need to have done. And I just think it's important that we keep our local community theaters well and thriving because they change people's lives.
I love it.
They change your life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's huge. That's great. I'm going to be going to theater, it turns out, here real soon.
What are you going to go see?
I don't know. I'm sure you'll coach me up. Coach approach.
I will always tell you what's worth going to see.
Okay. And you're in the know.
Mm-hmm. I'm very honest about it, too.
I want to see something with Scott Q. Marcus.
He just directed a really fantastic show at North Coast Rep, The Game's Afoot.
Yeah.
Did you go to see it?
Mm-mm.
Well, your loss.
Yeah.
I'm telling Scott you didn't go see it.
He'll know.
Uh-huh.
He already knows.
Yeah. No, it was really delightful. It was very fun.
He did a good job. Okay.
He did a very good job. Yeah, I was very pleased.
Well, Carol Lang, thank you.
Thank you, Scott Hammond.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Right?
Episode 65. I'll be 65 a week from today.
And I turned 62, and I was born in 1962.
Wow.
So that's pretty woo.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to stop counting after this one.
That's okay. You can do that.
No, you know what? I say I'm fine getting older.
Hey, it's okay.
I don't want to go backwards.
We call it advanced maturity. Hey, 100% Humboldt podcast can be found on all the podcast platforms. Did you know?
I am learning. I'm
Apple,
learning
Spotify,
all about this.
all that stuff.
Yep.
We're on YouTube, thanks to Nick, and we're on Access TV, Access Humboldt. So
go Access Humboldt.
Go Access Humboldt.
And don't forget, kids, great place to learn skills and a very, very, very low cost.
Really, really affordable.
Yeah.
And don't forget to like us, subscribe, make comments that are positive. And thanks again, Carol.
My pleasure. I really appreciate you asking me. Thanks, Scott.
Happy New Year.
You as well.